Hey there, this is Andrew bringing you my walkthrough of my round 5 of the KFPL Adaptive Qualifier. Um, this was a really interesting matchup, and you'll see why. Well, lots of reasons why. So it has, it's an AOA deck, 69 stats, which is pretty high for AOA, but um, first thing I see here is okay, it's Brobnar logos untamed. What do they have in Brobnar? Yeah, they have two drummer knots and a ganger chieftain. So that's a pretty big combo that can potentially go off. Um, Milgam Avalanche is an interesting card that turns a little bit of lead into board domination. And I know in this case that probably um, it's gonna have a little bit of a rough time against this kind of board domination. So uh, because I need to keep creatures on the board and use them. So if I can't do that, it's a little bit of a problem. Um, Tremor is going to be annoying. Lava Ball. Coward's End is going to be annoying because I'm building big board states, but they're not getting damaged. Then suddenly Coward's End is a board wipe. So, um, and then a very fast Logos. Time Traveler, two Wild Wormholes, uh, one of each ZYX, a researcher, a director, and project. That's fun. And lab work. So and two cutthroat researches. That's really the only steal in here. But anyway, it's a very interesting setup. So um, kudos to Wilkie for bringing a really interesting deck. And then in the Untamed, there's a key charge that could be a problem. Nepenthe, two regrowths. Those are all ways to get back the Ginger Chieftain, by the way. And then Nature's Call can be quite annoying. And persistence hunting to exhaust my stuff. Dusk Witch. So now looking here, there aren't. If I can build a Voltron, right, which you've seen is it really is often the plan here, then it's going to be difficult to kill it. Um, Done it with Tremor, that'll be frustrating, but it'll be difficult to kill except by getting rid of the rest of the board and then going Brobnar and fighting it with a bunch of big creatures. So, oh, there's the Gauntlet of Command, by the way, too. So anyway, really interesting stuff here. Uh, a lot of problems, right? Dusk Witch and Talika are things that I just have to deal with right away. So, okay. That said, on the SAS front, you would say, okay, Crawley definitely should win. The trouble is Crawley again wants to control the board, and this is going to give it a run for its money. Now, going into this match, I started recording a little late. Here's what you missed before I hit record. We started the game, and he got out. He got the Ganger drummer knot going, and and I had enough board that he couldn't go crazy with. But he did get it on the board, started clearing my board, and I'm like, oh, this is not good. Then I get stomped. I kill the Ganger knot. Everything's fine. So I'm like, cool. Crisis averted. The Ganger chieftain's dead. He has ways to get it back, but it's dead for now. I'm doing okay. Server crashes, and I'm like, that stinks because I was ahead. I had dealt like the biggest problem I was worried about. I had dealt with things were going good, and the server crashed. So there's nothing to do at that point but start over. So we did, and he was very kind of talking about it. Um, it wasn't his fault though, and we could maybe try to recreate the game state, but that takes way too long. So we just restarted. That's the right thing to do in that situation. So uh, try number two. Turn one, he goes Wild Wormhole into Taliga, and that's where we'll pick up here. Turn one, Wild Wormhole into Taliga, and I was so mad. Again, not his fault, not mad at him, but that is just bonkers. And I, I play out creatures because I need to get them on the board, and then turn two, um, gets Ganger not on the board, and I just, oh my gosh, so frustrating. So he's on turn 3 now and has a key with 3 amber in the bank, and I have 0 keys and 1 amber. One of his ambers sitting on my brooded on. It's bad. So anyway, so that's where we pick up, and I was tilted, but again, not his fault at all. So if you get in this situation, be kind. I think I remained kind, but man, was I frustrated. And then boom, Coward's End blows up my stuff. Oh my gosh, I'm just not making any progress here. And I'm thinking, how do I scrape this back? And that was such a high roll on his side. That's what I'm thinking. Such a high roll. I'm going to lose game 1. I'm going to lose game 2. That's just how it's going to go. And, I don't think I was crazy to think that. Archive the Quintrino Flux because I will probably need it later. God, Liga comes back out. So frustrating. Growth, so good. All right. Sarian, you stomp to kill the Talika. Protect the Edai. Get Golden Spiral out. Now he can kill the Golden Spiral by using Rustnar and a Wormhole Technician, but oh well. And okay, he doesn't quite forge because I have the Edai with the card in Archives. I have a really good Star Alliance hand now. So okay. He gets an Amber off the Darna. That's frustrating. Plays Dusk Witch. Okay, I need to deal with the Dusk Witch for sure. Play Morpheus. Let's start turning Edai into a Voltron. Ingram to protect stuff. Quintrino Flux, I can target the Morpheus, which kills his Darna, and then his Dusk Witch. So as a way to get rid of the Dusk Witch, and then use Frame to capture to onto the Edai. Okay, so he still doesn't quite get to forge. He has 5 amber. I have a board now, so that's good. And I know Coward's End is in the discard pile, so I'm feeling like, okay, maybe there's a chance. But he goes Robnar, uses Dependency to bring back the Coward's End. Please drummer non-Foozle. Okay, well that's not good. And unfortunately, I didn't get a Light of the Archons. If I had a Light of the Archons, I could have made Edai big, but I did not. I ended up using Wormhole Technician to finish off the Foozle because I do not want him to kill one of my creatures, drummer not, and then reap. That would be very frustrating. He's able to use Drummernaut to fight my Edai and then Gauntlet of Command to finish it. Okay. Now I misplayed here. I should have played the Failing Strike first, and I could have kept a Sanitation Engineer with 3 damage on it, but instead I played it late. And that's a bummer, but that's a misplay. I was on tilt, and that was the point where I realized, wow, I'm tilted, and I'm making stupid mistakes because of it, so I got to stop. And then more tilt because Nature's Call, shove my whole hand back. Ugh. Okay, so he's at 9 now with a key already. I used Neutron Shark to destroy his Gauntlet. That's going to help. And then I just dump out Logos. I'm still not on check here, so that's bad. He's able to go Logos and put out CYX Researcher, archiving a random card, Project ZYX, and then Wild Wormholes broke. But I have a big board now, so I can do Odoak, Retor, and then Failing Strike to kill his project and his Grok. At this point, I need to get the board state, so Grok is something I don't want to leave. Yes, I did check his card because, yep. Okay, so I'm at 7 now. I might get to actually forge a key, but he's at 2 keys, 5 amber. I have City State. That could help a lot. Um, he goes Logos, plays Time Traveler, plays Director of ZYX. Reaps with the ZYX Researcher, plays Cutthroat Research. I'm glad I wasn't at 8. Plays Library of Babel. So he's threatening with 9 now, and that's okay. I can actually do something about this. So I go Saurian, I steal 7 amber with City State Interest. I use Phalanx Strike, kill Time Traveler. At this point, there's no point in not exalting stuff. If he wipes the board, he's just gonna have way too much amber to deal with. All right, so he goes Brobnar, Flamewake Shaman, kills my daughter. Tremor stuns both my Retors. Now, I may have made a mistake here because he's not threatening right now. I did not go Saurian. If I'd gone Saurian, I could have unstunned my Retors, but instead I went Logos. And goes to thin his board out a little bit. Did not kill the Bilgam Avalanche though. I'm at 9, so I'm like, hey, I'm kind of in here. I'm coming back. Making progress, but at this point, there's just so much amber sitting on these creatures. Won't take much for him to have a lot of amber to sit on. I mean, if he plays Coward's End here, he ends up with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 amber off my creatures back into his pool, plus the 3 that's already there. There'd just be no way at that point. He doesn't quite do that, but he kills something with Bilgam Avalanche, plays Lava Ball, killing more, and then plays a Foozle and a Ganger Chieftain. So the Foozle kills one thing because of the Ganger Chieftain, and then he can Gauntlet of Command either of those creatures into something else, and so he does put black. That leaves him at 11. So I concede. I would have forged that second key, so it ends up really 2 keys to 3. But I was bummed because I thought I really should have won that game. He high rolled. Again, that's not. He high rolled and he like stuck it and played it really well. So I think let me just rewind this because I mulliganed. And I think I got almost the exact same hand minus 1 card. Yeah, look at that. Oh, I think the only card that changed out is I lost the regrowth and changed out Flame Wake for Broke. Like almost an identical. So really frustrating. But that's okay. I can go Logos, play Time Traveler, archive the top card of my deck. But he has Helms of Spears on the board. I can't do anything about it right now. That stinks. Didn't draw anything good with Time Traveler. Did get lucky with my ZYX hit and archived key charge. That is a nice thing. But I'm thinking, okay, I don't think there's a way here. I really don't think that his deck should win this matchup. Rough. Starts to build a Voltron already. Luckily, I get some Brobnar out, but can't do anything about that Voltron yet. Ooh, this Untamed hand is nice for sure. See if I can do anything with that regrowth, but because there's nothing in my discard yet. But the yeah, need to play 5 Untamed cards. That'll be nice. He goes Star Alliance again, which makes sense because he has really solid Star Alliance there. Plays and has more in his hand. Plays Morpheus, Frame, Helms and Spears, cycles 3 cards. Like maybe he didn't get anything. Oh, I was wrong. Quintrino Flex blew up my whole board. Oh my gosh, this is terrible. Um, but I get back the Groke, which is going to give me something to fight with on my Brobnar turn, and then Nature's Call, put one Spears back in his hand, put put Frayne back in his hand, and pop the ward on the remaining Spears. Um, and I'm thinking, okay, now I'm in a position where I'll be able to kill the Spears. Nope, because because nope. Puts a Broodon in front of it, uses Failing Strike to wipe the board, boards the Frayne. Just disaster. This is such a disaster. All right. Well, go Brobnar. Sound the horns. The Helm Spears is warded anyway. You get Drum or not. Okay. Man, not super helpful. Push that into the Odoak. Tremor to stun his stuff and then play Groke. Okay, well, at least we have a little bit of board space now because those creatures are all stunned, and that Tremor really was good against the Helmsman Spears. But he goes Logos, uses Twin Bolt to hurt my Groke and kill my Drummer Knot. Really a bad scenario there. And then Neutron Shark kills my Dependency. Very sad. And looks like it's going to kill the Gauntlet too. Oh no, he leaves the Gauntlet, but finishes off the Groke. Okay. I go Untamed, pop out Nox, Taliga, and Duskwitch. That's actually pretty good for me because he doesn't have a great way to deal with the Liga unless, oh, sorry, and Failing Strike, Stomp, yeah, okay, and he just forged for 6. That's not good. Remember game 1, he forged 2 keys before I even got to my first, and he's ahead with Crawley. This is not good. Well, I go Logos, dump out Cutthroat Research Project and Director ZYX, and library access. And okay, now I have a little bit of hope here because I have a Lava Ball, Drummer Knot, and Ganger Chieftain in my hand. So, okay, starting to get a little bit of help. Ooh, he dumps a very large Logos board out. This is just not good. Terrible. Oof. Okay, well, what do I have here? I could do the Brobnar thing and really get a lot of work done. I forget what I have, what my second archive card is here. But I'm trying to look through my options. What are my options here? Ugh. I could get a lot of work done in Brobnar, but I end up going Untamed, put out Grovekeeper, and then use Persistence Hunting to exhaust all his Logos creatures. That puts me to 6, which is something. And then Tricerian Legionary comes out. Phalanx Strike. Ugh. No. So sad. Kills my stuff. I go Brobner. All right, do it. Lava Ball on the Broodon, and then trying to figure out the right sequencing here. But I decided to go Flamewake Shaman. I think to finish the Broodon now, yeah. Putting it at 6. Now, Helmsman Spears is a 4 power with 2 armor, so if I can hit it with the Drummer Knot, I'm going to be good. Ganger Chieftain makes Flamewake Shaman finish off the Edai, and then I use Gauntlet to have Ganger Chieftain kill the Wormhole Technician, play the Drummernaut, which returns the Ganger Chieftain. I play the Ganger Chieftain next to Drummernaut, kill the Helmsman Spears, and now I play the Ganger Chieftain again, Flamewake Shaman to kill Information Officer Gray. This leaves him with 3 Logos creatures on the board, but a much smaller board, and I have Forged a Key. So now it's 1 key each. Wilkie has 5 amber. I have 2. He has a bigger board, but I've started to get a little bit of a grasp on the situation. So, okay, there's a little bit of hope. Not much, but a little bit. Goes Logos, finishes off the Drummernaut with Hapsis, plays Twin Bolt, hurting my Grovekeeper and Ganger Chieftain, reaps with Quant, get to use an off-house action. That's no fun for me, and probably doesn't use the mini here because of the Hapsis, unless he uses it like, yeah, I don't think he would. Plays Sanitation Engineer. You could use the mini group think tank itself this time, though. That would work. Did not. Okay, so that puts Wilkie at 7 tech. I go Logos. It's a bummer because if he'd gone to 8, could have Cutthroat Research. Oh well. All right, so Wild Wormhole hits Regrowth, which pulls Drummernaut back into my hand. Help from Future Self gets me Time Traveler. I play the Time Traveler. I Wild Wormhole into Nature's Call, which is actually really good. I pop the word on Hapsis, bring the Time Traveler back into my hand, play it out again, and I pushed Quant back into their hand. Put out Memory Chip, and lab work to re-archive the key charge. Okay, that puts me at 12, which is actually very good. I'm back in the game now. That was a lot of amber generated that turn. That was just a ton of amber. And he still has a really nice Logos board, so he's going to use it. But then I mean, if I can keep the game, if the Ganger Chieftain stays on the board, I'm in very good shape. But he knows I pulled back the Drummernaut with Regrowth. So really incentivized to kill it. But he didn't. Oh, he did. Yep. So I do Forge for the low price of 6 amber, and I have a 6 creature Brobnar hand that I have to do. Not 6 creatures, 4 creatures, 5 creatures, and a Tremor. So I'm actually ahead now. We each have 2 amber. We each have 2 keys. He has 1 amber. I have 6, and I'm going to stun his stuff and drop out a really big Brobnar board. So suddenly, happening. I'm still going to end on 6. Getting those both Drummernauts to the table, a little bit of a tricky operation there, but I did it. So I am tech for key 3. I know there are tools in Crawley to hold me off. We'll see if Wilkie has them. But this is where I was like, for the first time, I'm a little hopeful. And the weird thing is, I still, at this point, feel like Crawley is the better deck. Even though I lost, well, even though it lost the first game and looks like it might lose the second game, I still think it's better. Okay, so he keeps me off with Frayne. It's a board out. I go Brobnar. I have this giant board. I need to use it. Lava Ball kills 2 of his creatures. Sweep for 2 with Foozle. Kill the stuff and bring back. One nice trick with Drummernauts is bring back damage stuff. I reap a second time with the Foozle because of that Gauntlet at 12, which is quite a lot. It will be difficult, but not impossible for him to from winning at this. Plays 1 Retor. Big. chooses Stomp to kill Foozle. Plays Odawak, but it's not enough. Wow, GG. So, um, so he gets to decide whether to go first or second. So he decides he's going to go first. And he bids, well, he has to start the bid at 0. And this was a rough move for me. And to just explain, I'm still at this point convinced that my deck is better. I feel like game 1, he totally high rolled after the restart. I was on top, game crashed, the server crashed, and second run through, felt like Wilkie just high rolled. And no, I mean, he played it right, like no mistakes, and rode that wave to best that it could be done. So very well done, but I felt like I don't think it should have won. So going into game 2, I thought I was just going to lose. I think I high rolled on that Logos turn, looking back now. And I had some other good stuff, but that Logos really just did an amazing job. So I'm in a similar situation where it's like, okay, I mean, I wild wormholed into Nature's Call with Time Traveler on the board. That's so good. So and I hadn't thought even through it that much, but I realized, or I just felt like, okay, I think my deck is better. And if that's true, it puts him in a bad situation because he doesn't have the option to choose to not play the winning deck because he brought it. And I get to have my deck for 0, and he gets to have his deck for 0, his deck that has a 2-0 record. But I felt like it was right. I even, in a side chat, I was talking to some team members and saying, I think I'm going to do this, but none of them responded. They were busy playing their own games. And so it happened. I did it. I said, yep, you can have your deck for 0. And yeah, it was a rematch at this point. So he's going first. Just a repeat of game 1 here. Won that one. That's a good enough hand. I don't know. Kept it. So that means I'm going Starlight's first turn, Quintrino Flux. I didn't have to play in that order, but I did. The encounter suit protects spears. If he doesn't kill the spears, Saurian is a nice follow-up because I can maybe get a little board control. Oof. Oops. Stuff be dying. But I can get a little board control and board that thing. So I don't know if that was right to exalt the Rhetor Gallon, but I didn't want the Germanaut to survive a fight. So I guess that's why I did it that way. Because Logos that leaves the spears on the board, gets Time Traveler back already. Wow. Rough. And then Wild Wormholes into King or Chieftain. Ugh. Wild Wormholes killing me, and already looking really bad. Trump card I have in my pocket is this Neutron Shark. But, so, and I gotta say, we're waiting for me to come back, package. Still a little tilted. Feeling really good that I won game 2. I was super tilted, and it's hard to win when you're feeling that way. I stayed calm, and I pulled it off, and that is something I've worked on a lot, and I'm very proud of it. And I really suggest anything you can do to boost your mental resilience in the face of terrible things happening. You're going to be glad you did. So, but he's already ahead again, so it's looking bad. But there's a good Logos turn I can do here, and any groupthink tank, hard to play with, but it can really pay off in situations like this. I think I did it wrong. I should have played another creature first and then the mini group think tank, but I think I play the mini group think tank first. Anyway, play that. That kills the build of Avalanche. Then dump out the creatures, and basically then when I play the Neutron Shark, I'm deciding the order of importance of my creatures, right? So it's probably in this case I kill the Sanitation Engineer first, then the mini group think tank, then Wormhole Technician, and finally the Neutron Shark. I might even decide to keep Wormhole Technician over the Golden Spiral. Ganger Chieftain was priority 1 because if I kill the Drummernaut, but not the Ganger Chieftain, then if he has another Drummernaut, he can just bring it out. And I hit Edai like on my first discard, so that's bad in 2 ways. One, I wanted to destroy more of his board with that shark, so that really stinks. And number 2, I wanted to play Edai. Discarding it that way stinks. So he goes Untamed, boosts up stuff, and kills. And then key charges. But I'm able to go Logos Twin Bolt to finish off the Drummernaut, kill the Dusk Witch, and then reap out and use the Neutron Shark to both his artifacts. Very good. And it is good that I killed the Neutron Shark there. I would have had to keep going. And I am rewarded with a 6-card hand of 6 Saurian hand. That's really good. Coward's End blows stuff up. That's not good. But he can't kill the Helmsman Spears with this stuff because of our suit. That is very nice. Let's protect it with Rudon Auxiliary. Let's protect Odoak as well. Let's get out Pompatus, Retor Gallon, use Phalanx Strike to kill the Ganger Chieftain. That's the only thing he has on the board, so don't need to do anything else. And then City-State Interest. Ooh, and actually I did not City-State Interest because he had no Amber. Instead I used Golden Spiral on Helmsman Spears to discard the City-State Interest to draw a card, but I didn't get anything. All right. So I get to forge. So now we're at 1 key each. He has 4 Amber. I have 1. I have a board. I'm going. Coward's End is in the discard. Build the Gauntlet. I'm feeling pretty good here. So I build Helmsman Spears into a Voltron. Kill his Time Traveler. Discard a bunch of stuff. Draw more stuff. Play Morpheus. Play Frame, putting 2 Amber on the Spears. Put Quadricorder on these Spears. This is actually looking really good now. So we're 1 key and 2 Amber each, but I have a giant board. I have a Voltron with Quadricorder. This is really actually going my way now. All right, so go Saurian. I'll stomp the Taliga. And fun thing here is I'll Phalanx Strike the Rusnar, and then I basically get to reap out, and I can Golden Spiral the Spears, drawing 1 with the Calvin, and then discarding a bunch of stuff. Now notice I hold the Neutron Shark because it's good. I use Phalanx Strike to kill the Hapsis because at this point I'm thinking I just want to redraw that thing. It's damaged enough. This puts me on 10 Amber for check, so that is really solid. He has Depth Seed for Coward's End. He wipes my board except for Helmsman Spears. Very sad. Very sad, but could be worse. Gets a little Saurian board, a little Brobnar board going. 4 Brobnar creatures. That's bad. Okay, but I'm at 4 Amber. So if I can go to like 6 here, I don't think there's a way he can stop me. So I Golden Spiral the Helmsman Spears, discard a bunch of stuff. All my logos. Starlines did not draw anything else good. Retor Gallem, Phalanx Strike isn't going to do much, but I can at least Croak. This puts me on 6 for check. That means I'm in pretty good shape, but he can totally kill my Spears with Brobnar this turn. He just has enough big, powerful creatures. So But having said that, I don't think they actually went with it. So Broke finishes off, kills the Gallon, and then he fights all three my years, which gets him back 10 amber, but he can't stop me from forging. So I get the win. So yeah, I feel like it was a pretty gutsy play there to say I want the deck that lost 0-2, but what it did, it worked. So what you're gonna do. Yeah, very well played, to Wilkie / not tonight. And I think it's a good reminder that sometimes what the game is telling you is right. What the record is telling you is right, and you have to know when to lean into that. So I do think that Crawley is the better deck in this scenario, but it's a tough matchup. It's a very close matchup, and um, and I felt like in game two, part of why I won is I don't think that he necessarily got full value out of Crawley. Almost no one is going to get full value out of Crawley on their first time playing it for sure. But I thought, going into the game three, I bid 1 for his deck, and he lets me have 1, which is reasonable on his part. He's now going to be playing Crawley better than he did, and and with me having a chain, which one chain isn't a big deal, but I just don't think it was worth it. Um, so I did what I did, and it worked out. So that put me at 5-0 going into the last round. That guaranteed me a spot. So I will do. I played Game 6, and I'll put up a video about it. But it's worth saying that it didn't matter a lot because we both had a guaranteed spot in the league. So there it is. Hope you enjoyed, and that maybe some of the thought processes will help you with adaptive matches in the future. And hope you get out there and forge some keys.